broke.
Good.
Alright. So we never know what life's going to bring us. We never know what challenges are going to be tomorrow. And we always need to be prepared for it. My quote is, the best preparation for tomorrow is to do today's work superbly well. And I kind of agree with this quote to an extent. The superbly part, I'm not sure, because, I mean, not everything we can do superbly well. We can't pay our bills superbly well, I guess. But, so there's a few things that I agree with this quote, because for one, in life's challenges, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So to be prepared for tomorrow is a good thing. To have a plan, to know how we're going to go throughout our days tomorrow, like when we're going to go to school, where we need to go to pay bills, or things that we need to prepare for speeches. You know, we have to prepare the prior day to be able to be ready for the next day's challenges. You know, but we never know what tomorrow brings throughout life, in our workplace, in our school. One thing I know, like Kendrick Lamar says it. He says, "Everyday life is a gamble," and it's very true. So we don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. That brings me to my next point. Is it kind of comes from a standpoint of being ready in life's challenges, or there's been a lot of things that have happened recently this year that have been pretty bad. Like, for example, the Vegas shooting, and a lot of people had no clue it was coming. But a lot of people had no clue what to do. They just ran around, scrambled, and he was taking them out left and right. And one thing I think is important is people should be ready with certain aspects. Like in the military, we have to be ready. We prepare for war, so we know what to do when things happen. And I think that's true for people, like everyday people, not just military. Like, people should know how to defend themselves. People should know what to do if things go wrong, if the car breaks down, if someone's sick, if someone's choking. And one day my grandma was actually choking, and my mom was freaking out. She didn't know what to do, and I had to give my grandma the Heimlich. And it was kind of nervous for me too. I almost started figuring out, but like I knew what to do. So, and that's like the gamble. Like, you need to know what to do in life, what life throws at you, instead of just laying there and just taking its punches. Another thing, it brings me to another, it's not necessarily a quote, but it's a big time CrossFitter who always says, fitness is never owned, it's rented, and you have to pay the man every day. And I think that's very true. So anything that you want to be good at in life, you need to prepare every single day is practice for you. So you have to continue, like for him, with being a CrossFitter, going to CrossFit Games, he continues to push himself hard every single day, push his body to the limits when it comes to working out and everything like that. So he prepares himself well for the next day, because nothing is really truly ours either in life. So we have to be prepared. So I think it's very important to prepare ourselves for life, prepare ourselves for tomorrow, and prepare ourselves well for tomorrow, because we don't know what's going to be coming. Thank you.
I know. I'm getting more and more tired. It's tough when she goes. I just reached my house. I left. I was like, no, I need to be up like at least 3 more hours.
Is this your only class after your work?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some of those, I don't even know some
So you can go back home and go to sleep after this? Okay, good.
I should have done a prepared speech.
Yeah, same.
Right? I feel like overtime. I overthink everything.
I know.
Like, I write a whole essay and I'll be like, this doesn't sound good.
All right, Davon, even though you are a little self-doubting right now, I thought you did fine. So don't worry about it. You did okay. Your introduction's fine. The transition to the topic I thought was really solid. You have a good interpretation of it about the ability to have a plan. I think that's the right approach. Problem is that all the supporting points turn into other quotes. You've got Kendrick Lamar, you've got the quote from the CrossFit guy. Felt like that's not necessarily a bad way to organize a speech, but it feels like it's coming after you've organized it instead of that's how you've decided to organize it. They're just kind of spontaneous things that jump in and they don't necessarily fit the way you want them to. You feel it feels a little bit like you're wandering around and you find something to hang on to with the quote instead of figuring out, well, how does this illustrate my original point about having a plan? It just feels like, well, I've got another thing to say about the topic, and so you kind of go off on, not tangents per se, but a slightly different direction anyway. The delivery things, look, it's easy to hear you. You've got good variety in your voice. The pacing is pretty solid. Your gestures are a little limited. Your facial expressions are okay. Your eye contact, look, you regularly look up at the audience, so you're doing okay there. I thought that your body movements usually seem to be related to your use of gestures, so it did seem integrated into the presentation. Nothing, like I said, I didn't notice anything that was problematic except some of the content issues, and but I also didn't notice anything that was particularly great. You know, you're doing a solid job. Probably could do a little bit more if you had more to say about the topic. All right, thank you.